Hey howdy, how's it going? Basically, I'm going to preface this at the start of this video by saying that I love Payday. I never played Payday 1, I only have 24 hours of Payday 2, and for Payday 3, I've played about a good 5 hours now. For Payday 2, I have played basically only console, so I didn't get to experience the back end of the game, because obviously it didn't have support for a while, or it wasn't given support after a while, but I've learned and it's grown on me. The game itself of Payday 2 has grown on me, and playing Payday 3 when the servers are actually working to a degree, the game is fun. A lot of people do need to understand this, is that the game is actually really fun, and that is the problem, is that if there was an offline mode, which is the main thing, that's the main conversation around the place, that's the main thing that you see everywhere, is that offline mode should have been in the game. Now, the main conversation that starts to happen as well is a lot of people saying, hey, the developers made a really bad decision here, and they should not have done this. To a degree, it's not the developers' fault. There's only certain incidences where you can exactly blame the developers for certain things. I only think that this is valid when it comes to something like Overwatch 2 and their balancing team when it comes to characters and certain things like that. If you have no idea about Overwatch 2, you don't play that game, you don't care, don't worry about it. Basically, the developers, they're trying what they can, but higher ups have more or less the overall hold over the whole game itself because they make the decisions. Some people, obviously, would say, why don't they just like stand up to them or something or whatever. Imagine a cubicle job. Imagine you in a job where you are not the boss and you try standing up to your boss. It's not going to work. You're going to get fired. These people work. It's their job. They literally make money to live by producing this game, which in theory is good. But obviously there are some people that are within the industry when it comes to game developing and everything that simply just do not care. And obviously the Payday 2 format, I believe, truly worked. Having DLCs after DLC after DLC was amazing, and the fact that buying a DLC got you as much content as you needed, it was basically a bundle of stuff, was good. Especially once it's like years and years later and they are now like 99 cents on the PlayStation Store. But this conversation is about Payday 3, not exactly Payday 2. More or less it's just Payday as a whole. The main reason why the game is not offline and you can't exactly just play offline, a lot of people have come to the agreement that it is because they do not want people to abuse and cheat the game. On PC, for Payday 2, there are mods that allow you to get every DLC, every weapon, level up to max, have increased money, all of these things. Obviously, for some of it, that ruins pretty much the whole experience of the game. But there are good mods, for example, like having enhanced HUD that makes it so that you actually understand what your cooldowns are doing and everything like that. Those things I think are pretty good. There's also ones where it shows damage numbers on characters. I've seen that before. A lot of these things are pretty good. They're not bad, and if anything, being able to mod your own game does not do anything to anyone else. Even if, for Payday 2, you were playing in a multiplayer lobby after having leveled yourself up, given yourself the best items, whatever, that does not infringe on anyone's gameplay because they've had to either pay or cheat to get that DLC to play there. It doesn't matter. For most people, of course, they've paid to buy the game. People also pirate the game. That happens a lot of the time as well. And a lot of people have also, I've seen clips, either clips, comments, TikToks, doesn't matter. Seen a lot of people, or a few people, some people, doesn't really matter, have said and pointed this out, and that's something that I've also recognized, is that you can play offline. You can play by yourself. You load into the tutorial for the game extremely quickly, compared to waiting for a minute and a half to get into regular lobby. There's a lot of problems included in this, like if you're not taking the fact that Payday 3 itself is a good game and you're just thinking about the servers and everything like that, there's a bit to dissect. The servers being down for as long as they have and coming back up randomly and then being down and then not being able to handle the amount of people that are on it, so it goes down. It's really stupid. Main reason, a lot of people have said this, specifically one person, Red Archer Live. This guy. Took me a minute to find it. I am recording my screen right now for this. Right here. There you go. I'll probably have a link or something. I don't know links for this video. But anyways, I believe the last thing I was talking about is the offline sort of thing. It was pointed out that basically you can earn things while offline. And it is possible. They just don't have an offline mode, which is awful in my opinion. Obviously, we all are coming to the agreement here that not having an offline mode is terrible because for the example of right now, the servers are down. The servers don't work. what better way to fix that than to play offline if you want to play the game so badly? Obviously, for some people, they may go, well, that is kind of stupid because, you know, games should be online now. No, the online sort of thing of everything needs to be online mode is really bad. It's the same thing as like newer CODs having so much, or Call of Duties, having so much stuff going on that you can't even play split screen anymore, when that used to be like a very common thing, especially playing online. But obviously we're not exactly talking about Call of Duty here. During my time of playing with my friends for a little bit, which there will be a video up sooner than later, something that I noticed while playing with them was that there were a few moments where I would go, man, if only I had that thing that was in the past game. This is where there's like an issue, I feel like, is because there are a lot of perks and certain things that are removed. For example, one that I love using, and you probably would see it in my videos, is Stoic, where you basically have a flask that keeps healing you because the damage you take does not come instantly, and it slowly goes down and allows you to heal yourself with your own ability. Pretty good, pretty fun. One thing that was also changed is the armor system. Basically, when you get shot now, your armor just goes. Whatever was taken is taken, and you're done. Unless I'm wrong about that, there's a chance that I haven't fully figured it out, but that's what I've experienced, is that armor is very important, but med packs are not as important anymore for some reason. It should be a thing for this game where you can play with a group of people, and if you have a stack of 4, it makes a separate, it just makes a server. It makes a room, whatever, for your friends to play. There's a common thing right now where even if you put private game, you are still waiting to get into the game, and you sometimes will not connect because of how poorly the servers are being able to handle this. And I know I'm bopping back and forth between the game and the servers and certain things like that, back end things, the main end, whatever you want to call it. But for example, I don't know why it's a thing. It's a me thing, a personal thing that I've always been wondering, is why you cannot put your mask off again. Instead, they've never talked about it, I don't think. I'm not caught up with every single bit of info when it comes to the Payday community. But for Payday 2, it was a thing that right when you got spotted, you immediately would put your mask on because there was no going back. They've fixed that, made it so that you have a few chances. You have a few bits and ways of getting around it, which was cool. Up until you realize that there are certain moments where, like, you need to break something, for example, a camera, unless you're playing on higher difficulty, which I haven't yet, but you're playing on a lower difficulty, you break a camera with your pistol or punching it, you cannot take your mask off anymore. It doesn't work that way. You can't do certain movements when it comes to being in canvas mode, which in theory makes sense, but at the same time it's kind of dumb. It doesn't really make sense for canvas mode for a lot of the things. There are a few things where you could say, well, lore reason, well, that's just the game mechanic. There are a few things where it's like, all right, that kind of makes sense. It's just you have to work around it. It can't be the way that you want it exactly. That's understandable. There could be a mod that they would eventually add, but they can't because the game will not have support for that, I bet. I didn't expect anything to really go bad when it came to this game, and obviously, I'm not bashing the game. I think Payday 3 is pretty fun when you actually get to play, and that's the main consensus, and that's the main issue, is that you just can't play. If you could play, more people would be able to judge it, but the fact that they're not able to play makes a lot of people not want to buy it. That and the fact that the game itself is on Game Pass, so a ton of people who already play on Xbox are all just playing the game automatically because all they had to do is download it. They didn't even have to pay anything. I pre-ordered the game for $90, and guess what? I don't even get those items until October. Obviously, that's my main issue, is that I don't even actually get the shit that I paid for. And I know that I paid the $90 because I remember fucking sitting there having to put in a credit card to be able to fucking buy it. But I did heavily look forward to playing this game and playing it with friends, mostly. Like, that was the main thing, is that it was a game that you can play with other people, and you're not as stressed out when it comes to playing an online game where you're dealing with tons of sweaty people who are playing a competitive game, whether it's Siege or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's frustrating sometimes where you legitimately cannot just enjoy whatever you're trying to play. Payday 3 was good for that because there's so many things that you can do. Not the same thing as Minecraft or something like that, but obviously for Payday 3, you have so many different options. They also made it so much easier when it comes to using hostages and certain things like that. And honestly, you know, like, things kind of tend to work, but a lot of things were just taken out and removed. If this is all they needed to do, if they had an open beta, now this is the solution part of the video, probably will be the end. Solutions for all of this. Obviously, some of it you can't go back on. That will be the first point here. They should have had just an open beta, not where you need to pay to be in it, because those types of betas do not work, because literally no one is going to pay to test your stuff, when in reality, it should just be out there. Everyone will play, you'll get more people hooked. If it works, more people want to play it. So if all your servers work for open betas, then you'll know that when everyone starts to buy it and everything, then it'll work more. I don't see it as being that fucking hard. Obviously, another solution is add more maps. More things need to be added. There isn't really many maps. There's like 8 or 9, and they aren't... some of them are really not that fucking fun. For one of the maps, there is a painting thing, and it's a whole, like, gallery. You have to walk around for hours. Me and my friends couldn't fucking figure it out for the life of me. It was the most painful thing to do ever. Obviously, I mean, I don't have any sort of complaints when it comes to the characters or anything like that. One thing that was removed entirely was not being able to customize your NPCs that are with you when you're playing by yourself. They're pushing more for the online mentality, so they really don't want you to experience the game in a fun way. Obviously, they're probably not going to do that, not talking about the developers, but higher ups when it comes to making it so that we can have all the things that we had in Payday 2 for Payday 3. There are certain perks in perk decks that were removed or changed. Why don't we just have them all? Add a new perk that has extra things. Make it so that we can get more perk points. One thing as well, the way that you level up in this game, it is absolutely fucking terrible. It is all based purely on challenges, like Fortnite or fucking Apex or a battle royale sort of thing. Just a way for them to try to keep people playing more, to try to get one challenge. I am okay with the challenges there, but the way that Payday 2 had it when it came to leveling up and just earning XP in general, it was mostly attached to the money that you earned. At least I believe that to be somewhat true. I don't know for sure, I didn't really pay attention, I just kept leveling up after I was playing, but the harder difficulties you played on, the more you leveled up, the lower it took a little bit more time. It was completely fine. You didn't need to do anything in specific though. For example, a lot of challenges require you to play on harder and harder modes. A lot of challenges require you to play it silent and not get spotted at all. That's fucking stupid. I find that to be really obnoxious. Those challenges are interesting, but those should be achievements, which used to be the case for Payday 2. Payday 2 has so many achievements for you to get. Steam has... let me pull it up. On Steam right here, I will show you. Obviously, I've done a few of these on my own somehow. I've barely played. I think I played 2.5 hours. Right here, there is 1,328 trophies, achievements, whatever, challenges, something, for you to earn for the whole game if you have every single DLC. It is fucking insane. Now, that's not a problem, but the fact that those are there gives more people a challenge. But if you have a base game, which is what Payday 2 has, it has a base. It has something to work off of. All they needed to do is just work off of that. Give us back our old things that had good value. Add more guns. Add a few bits of more guns. What happened to my melee weapons? All of those are gone. What the fuck? Make it so that the masks are also a little bit more enticing. A little bit more of clothing. A little bit more of fucking... of gloves. There are so many things that just aren't really there. And it's pretty fucking boring. Now, maybe it's a certain case of what's happened to a lot of games that are AAA titles, is they were released way too early, and like years later or months later or something, we're gonna have the fully finished product that we were supposed to get, and then start getting new updates. That's something that's also happened to Overwatch. I don't know if you've seen it, but last October the game came out. This October coming up, it's getting to a state that it should have been in to begin with, which is still bad, honestly. I think the main solution all around is obviously have better servers, you know, work on that. Make sure that the content's there, make it so that it's fun to play with friends, and an offline mode. That's really all we need. I think that's it. I think that's all I've had to say for this entire video. Surprisingly, I didn't like rant endlessly. I kind of went off script this time. I didn't really actually say that much that was on the script. I just kind of was saying my thoughts of everything that I could think of in my brain. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will most likely be coming out with a gaming video, montage, whatever, of me playing with my friends of Payday 3, because I did manage to get a couple hours in before the servers took major fucking shit. So hopefully you stick around to see that. If you want to, consider subscribing, and then you can, you know, see it in your subscriptions, whatever. Like the video, comment down below what you think of how the game is doing. Just give me your thoughts and opinions. There is no wrong opinion when it comes to a video game, and it's okay to be on the wrong side, technically, in quotations. Don't worry about that. But I guess that's it for this video. See you guys around. See you later.